発行準備完了。小鳥、上げて。
The moment Agaha gave the signal, the winch started moving as if it couldn't wait. The glider steadily accelerates. I pulled back on the yoke.
頼んだわよ、葵。
Leaving behind Agaha, who was holding up the right wing, and running with us, the glider floated into the air. I checked the altitude on the altimeter. We are currently 300 meters above ground. Then I looked up to the sky above. Outside the dome-shaped canopy, all I could see was the sky. A sky changing from night to morning. Indigo, orange, and pale yellow. The morning sun paints a complex gradient as far as the eye can see. And there, in the middle, a straight line of clouds stretched out. Amazing. I felt like I was being sucked into it as I started as this spectacle.
上昇してる。うまくサーマルに乗れたみたいね。葵くん、葵くんは今手が離せない。あまねちゃん、うまくいってるみたいね。ああ、現在サーマルに乗って上昇中。高度500メートルに到達。おっしゃー！気流が荒れてるみたいですけど、上空はどうですか？かなり荒れているが、でも大丈夫だ。葵くんが頑張ってくれてる。なんとか順調みたいね。そのまま雲の上まで行っちゃって。そうしたいのは山々だが。どうかしたんですか？もう少し上昇したらこのサーマルから離れる。え？どうして？リフトが弱くて上昇速度が遅い。これじゃ間に合わない。
We won't be able to rise any higher here. The G-forces that felt so strong at first were now getting weaker. We'd risen to a certain extent, but we were now just maintaining the current altitude. If we stay here like this, the thermal might grow, and we might be able to gain stronger lift. Well, if we think about the time, it's quite likely that'll happen. This is because thermals get bigger as the sunlight hits the Earth, which heats quicker than air. And with this level of heat, the air close to the ground warms up, causing thermals to occur. Since last night was so cool, when the morning sun hits the Earth, more and more strong thermals will start rising. But we don't have much time for that. If we wait a little longer for the sun to come up completely, the morning glory will disappear. We're getting out of this thermal.
わかった。
As we look up to the morning glory in the distance, we flew out of the thermal.
だいぶ流されているな。
Thermals are often thought to extend straight up like a pillar through the air, but actually they don't go straight up. In the same way that smoke is blown by the wind, thermals twist when hit by wind from the side. While we were climbing in the thermal that was leaning to one side because of the wind, we moved further away from the morning glory. The morning glory doesn't just stay in one place. It is rotating as it rolls, moving across the lake. If it gets too far away, then we'll have no means of catching up with it other than falling to increase our propulsion, which makes things difficult. Increasing speed. I push the yoke forward, pointing the nose downwards. While sliding down on the air, the glider accelerates. Whenever the nose is pointed downwards, the ground always comes into view. Amane, who is scared of heights, stifles her screams. Amane, we'll be okay. The glider will not fall. I'll make sure of that.
落ちてる。嘘、そんなことないよ。ちゃんと飛んでる。でもまた高度が下がってるわ。サーマルを出たのね。この状況なら賢明な判断かも。サーマル？ねえ、サーマルって何？なんでもないわ。
Oh, come on, explain it.
でもこのままじゃ落ちる一方よ。次のサーマルを早く見つけないと。
We've caught up with it.
けど高度もだいぶロスしたぞ。
To get back the altitude that we'd lost, we search for the next thermal. In theory, they occur more easily above ground that looks like soil, or wide areas of asphalt, like parking lots.
あそこはどうだ？
Amani pointed towards the runway from which we had taken off. There was a wide area of soil in the sunlight. It certainly met the conditions needed for thermals to be made easily. All right.
あれ？なんか戻ってきたよ。まさかトラブル？葵くん、葵くん、どうしたの？何があったの？
Don't panic. We're just searching for thermals.
トラブルじゃないのね。
That's right.
けどこの時間帯じゃサーマルを見つけるのも大変よね。ちょうどいい場所にこれから発達しそうな雲でもあればいいんだけど。他に何か目印はないの？あとは実際に飛んでみるしか。もう少しなのに。双眼鏡貸して。何かないか探してみる。
We did get some lift above the runway after all, but it was weak. It wasn't enough to raise the heavy double-seater glider. It must be because the ground hasn't warmed up enough to create strong thermals. Darn it. Aren't there any around here? In the meantime, the glider is gradually descending. Whoa! Then the wind came. Perhaps because of the influence of the morning glory, the airflow is being disturbed. The glider wobbles as it is hit by strong winds, temporarily reducing the lift and causing a drop in altitude. I start to feel impatient. Should we have stayed over there after all?
でもそれだと。
The cloud from before was moving even further away from the direction we want to head in. Even if we can rise to the altitude we need, we would be too late. How much time has passed since we took off? Meanwhile, the sky has become brighter and has changed from the morning glow to light blue.
届かないんだよ。
Amani mumbled to herself, while looking up at the passage of cloud, stretching across the sky. No, that's not true. It's right in front of us. We'll do something about it. Patori and Agaha were also looking for clouds from the ground. We haven't reached the time limit yet.
やっぱりだいぶ高度を下げてサーマルを見つけられないのね。どうしよう。このままじゃあの綺麗な雲に届かないよ。頑張れ頑張れ。頑張っても上昇気流が吹かないんじゃどうしようもないわね。
Where's Harry Potter when you need him?
トンビが飛んでるわ。 グライダーも鳥さんみたいに羽をバサバサやって飛べればいいのにな。だからエンジンを乗せればいいのにって。あら、どうしたのヨルちゃん。こっちへ来るみたい。え？あ、ほんとだ、こっちに来る。頑張れ変ね。こっちの空にもそれらしい雲なんてないのに。超頑張って
You were right, Kotori.
間違いない。双眼鏡じゃ小さくしか見えなかったけど。
In response to Kotori's transmission, we headed across the lake towards Windmill Hill. There should be some thermals over there. But there aren't any clouds that seem to indicate thermals.
サーマルがあるからといって必ずしも雲が作られるわけじゃない。それに多分丘が斜面になっているせいだと思う。
Do you mean that thermals occur more easily above slopes?
ああ、太陽光は地表に対して斜めに降り注いでいるだろう。けど斜面になっていればその光を正面から受けられる。その分エネルギーが集中して温まりやすいんだ。
It's true the sloping surface of the hill that we are heading towards is shining from being in the direct light of the morning sun. How is it, Kotori?
いたいた、見つけた。あ、さっきよりかなり高くまで上がってる。間違いない。トンビよ。
We can't confirm that from where we are at right now, but it seems that a kite is flying above the hill. Kites are birds that glide to high altitudes using upward drafts. In other words, there's a thermal over there. However, that doesn't necessarily mean there is enough lift to raise a heavy double-seater glider. But there's nothing else left for us to try. I didn't think of anything other than aiming for that point. Eventually, the glider crossed the lake and approached the air above Windmill Hill. Whoa! Suddenly, we were shaken vertically. The barometer told us that the glider had dropped sharply. We've been caught in a downward draft? I panicked, and in the next moment, we felt a huge impact.
上がってる。
Suddenly, it felt like we were being pushed from below, and the glider steadily floated upwards. Then, a little later, the barometer informs us that we're rising. We had ridden a thermal. It's pretty strong. We can do this, Amane.
あったでしょ。
Yeah, way to go, Kotori.
褒められちゃった。上まで上がれそうなの？
They've got pretty strong lift. I think they can make it.
あまね先輩のこと頼んだわよ。
Leave it to me.
よーし、行ってこい。あの雲の向こうまで。
Yeah, on the wings that you guys made.
すごい。あんなに高くまで。風に乗ってるだけなのに、どうしてあんなに高く飛べるの？理屈なら説明できるけど、聞きたい？いい。聞いてもわからないし、それに、あんなの理屈で説明できるわけないと思う。理屈がないとあんな大きなもの飛べないわよ。すごいよ。すごい。
Before we knew it, the powerful thermals occurring above Windmill Hill had lifted us high up in the sky. We were getting closer and closer to the morning glory. We're getting closer, Amane. The clouds that from below looked small and intermittent were actually pretty big when we got close to them. I wonder how wide they are. At the very least, they would comfortably be able to cover the width of this glider. They stretched out to around the distance needed to go diagonally across the lake.
少し遠いな。
It's okay. If we can keep going above the clouds, it should be easy to pass across them. The thermal that we were riding was pretty powerful. As Amane had just explained, the slope of the hill is hit directly by the sunlight, so it heats up quickly. In other words, that means that the difference in the temperature is bigger compared to surrounding area. If there is no difference in temperature, then thermals will not be created, and if difference is big, then strong thermals will be made. The upward draft that Kotori had found for us feels strong enough to take us all the way to the horizon. While this is happening, the sun is rising, and the air temperature is increasing. Morning glory occurs for about 2 hours from the beginning of dawn. Come on. Come on. I'm getting impatient. However, if we try too hard, we'll lose balance, and we might lose altitude. While checking the rate of ascent on the barometer, I turn the glider to aim for the core of the thermal, the most effective part. Eventually, the glider that Amane and I were riding reached the altitude of morning glory that we were aiming for. Then we had soon risen above that and reached a position where we could view it from above. Look, Amane!
見てる。
I knew she'd be looking at it, but I said it anyway. It's because I was so moved. Is there anyone who wouldn't be moved to see a spectacle like this? With the bluish, purplish sky in the background, the passage of clouds shone as they were bathed in the pale pink sunlight. Words like beautiful wouldn't really express it at all. The word that came to mind was divine. My trembling hands gripped the yoke to gain an altitude to allow us to stay above the clouds. I turned into the thermal. I glanced at the front seat and I saw Amane from the side. Her eyes were open wide like a little kid's as she looked at the passage of clouds stretching across the sky.
いつかが私に見せたがっていた景色。私を連れて行こうとしていた場所。
Amane, can you get the camera?
ああ、そうだった。
Before we took off, Aga had given her a digital camera. She asked us to take a picture if we were able to fly above the morning glory. This was the perfect viewpoint looking across the clouds.
撮ったぞ。
All right, let's go to that place.
あ、
Amane nodded as if preparing herself. We didn't come here to look at the clouds. We came to pass across them. Once we had gained enough altitude, I tilted the yoke and turned the glider. Now it's time for us to go. The airflow here was calm, and we could fly without being shaken by crosswinds. In the upper parts of the sky, there were hardly any clouds, and the clear light blue gradient spread out in all directions. While paying attention to our rate of descent, we traveled along the space of crystal clear light. We are approaching the passage of light. A rolling airflow occurs around the clouds, And if we can ride that, we can pass along the passage of clouds as far as we want. We finally arrived. The morning glory was right there, at our fingertips. And as I thought that... all of a sudden, it happened. As our view swung round, the divine road of cloud that should have been there in front of us in the space of a moment was getting further away. We suddenly lost lift, and then a few moments later, we realized that the glider was rapidly descending. Ugh! I quickly pulled the yoke, but there was no response. The field of vision span around, and we couldn't even figure out if we were facing up or down. What is this? What's going on? Is it a stall? However, there were no signs that was going to happen. It was just like... yes, it was just like there was no air. We had lost all of our lift. We're falling. I can't deal with that right now! The surface of the lake appeared from the other side of the canopy. We were falling with the nose pointing straight down. I'll level it out. In the heat of the moment, I didn't know which controls I used. Anyway, I tried to lift the nose up and stabilize the wings. Whoa! A shock ran through me that felt like the fuselage might be crushed. To us, the pilots, the vibrations passed through our bodies, and for a moment, I thought that we had crashed. Looks like it. The nose and the wings leveled out, and the glider had gained lift and was floating. We were 200 meters from the surface of the water. In a moment, we had fallen almost 800 meters. If it was a few seconds later, it would have been too late. My whole body trembled with fear and relief. Are you all right, Amane? Her shoulders were shaking, but her reply was okay. What the heck happened just now? There were no signs that the airflow had become separated from the main wings, in other words, a stall. It is often said that it can occur without warning, but for it to occur somewhere that had such stable airflow... You mean, just now? If that were true, it was pretty strong. Do things like this really happen?
夏の間、湖や大きな河川の中央付近では、時折ダウンバーストが発生することもあるらしい。
Downbursts are powerful downburst drafts. If a downburst, a giant mass of air falls to Earth, it is powerful enough to cause severe damage. If we were swallowed by something like that, we wouldn't stand a chance. The place where we were was in the vicinity of the center of the lake. Like Amane was saying, we were so distracted by the morning glory that we lost sight of our own position. Because of the lake, the air cools, and it's possible that a strong downward draft would be created. If the air itself falls down, a glider which floats using the power of the air, would have no chance but to be taken down with it. That might be why we lost lift and fell, suddenly and without any warning signs. We heard Kotori's tearful voice over the radio. We're okay. Somehow, we managed to level it out. We don't know. Amane said that we might have been caught in a strong downward draft. A little more and we would be upside down in the lake. Sorry. But we're all right now.
何が起こったの？さあ、わからない。故障したのか。あるいは、強い下降気流に巻き込まれたのか。でも、なんとか落ちる前に立て直したようね。危なかったわ。もう少し遅れたら、死んでたかも。やっぱり、人が空を飛ぶのって、危ないことだよね。
Oh yeah, there's a lot of risk involved.
そうね。翼を持たない人間が空に憧れるのは、勇気がいるし、危険なこと。姉さん
？The morning glory. I quickly looked above. The place where we were just now is much further away. It's dazzling to think that we were so high up. Let's go up one more time.
無理だ、葵くん。もう間に合わない。
Really? We won't know unless we try. As I shouted, I looked to the sky. At some point, the dawn sky had disappeared, and the sky was now filled with a clear blue color. Exposed to the sunlight, the passage of clouds was nothing like it was at the beginning, and was thinning out and gradually disappearing. I turned the glider towards Windmill Hill. If we have the powerful thermal from before, we might be able to make it. I will take Amane there. Good call. But
あそこへ行くことはできなかったけど、イスカが見せたかった景色をほんの少し見ることができた。それで十分だよ。
Amane looked through the canopy at the clouds above.
これでさよならだ。
Amane's whisper, along with the passage of cloud, faded away into the sky. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. That was quite a curveball. That was close. I thought it was just some turbulence or something like that, but yeah, downburst is deadly. It is absolutely deadly. I'm glad they were able to recover. That is some scary stuff right there. But with all else out of the way, thank you so much for watching this particular episode. Hope you like all the effects I did in there. I raised the volume a lot more just to get more action into it. So hopefully if you like what you saw today, maybe leave a like. And if you'd like to see more, maybe hit that subscribe button. And we'll see what goes on after in the next episode. So until next time, happy mixing, everyone.